Hello to my LinkedIn friends. Welcome once again to Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches. So glad to have you here on this Tuesday. We are live here, and I'm not a stunt double. We are here to do some live coaching here on LinkedIn. So I'm excited to have you all here with us. And I'm excited to have along for the journey today with me, Michelle Formanczyk. So I'm going to bring her on. So glad to have you, Michelle. Thanks for jumping in to, I suppose we call it the hot seat. I don't like that term, so to speak, but you're jumping in with both feet. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It is kind of my thing to jump in with both feet, right? That whole be curious thing is go out there and try it, experiment. I'm thrilled to be here. A little bit. I just started my business back up. So Slingshot Designs was around in 2018, and I just started it back up again. So this was perfect timing for me.
That's cool. And the name Slingshot Designs kind of it seems apropos. But for those who don't know, and I encourage folks who are jumping on today to connect with you, of course, and find out more about what you're doing. But before we hop into coaching, would just love to give your like 60-second idea of who you are and how you got to where you are right now. And then we'll hop into some coaching.
Well, I think our stories never fit into 60 seconds very well, but that actually
that doesn't work. Yeah.
Cliff has a lot to do with what Slingshot Designs does. And my biggest product is my personal story turned into what's called the cardinal rule. And I really, the big point behind all of that, there's a lot of benefits to it, but the very big outcome I'm looking for anybody goes through the cardinal rule is to the ability to tell their story and own their own narrative, to tell their story without shame and blame, to own their narrative, and to bigger than that, take control of their own narrative, how they want to be seen and how they want to be heard.
That's something that's so important to me is people feeling seen, heard, and valued. I think that that's priority number one as a coach or a consultant, wherever you're going. So totally resonate with that for sure. Well, if you're ready, you all are ready. Let's do some live coaching here and see what happens. The fun thing about this is I don't know where it's going to go. Michelle doesn't know where it's going to go. It's not scripted. This is not WWE. So I'm excited for this. So, Michelle, what's on your mind today? What's going on?
I spent a lot of time thinking about what the biggest problem I'm facing right now is, aside from that whole stunt double being able to clone myself part. But I think the biggest problem I'm having right now that I think resonates is voice of customer. Coming up with, I really want to get into that nitty gritty of what the challenges that people face are, and what would be true value in terms of the people that I work with. If I don't have a customer base yet, then maybe what I'm looking for are some really good ideas on how to gain that voice of customer, so I'm delivering the best value I can be right off the get-go.
Yeah, well, first off, let me just say you're definitely not alone in that. I think that's something that I hear a lot. And Ruth, hey, great to have you, Ruth. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in from Ottawa. My wonder for you is how will you know, like if you were to, like, whenever you have this challenge figured out, six weeks, a month, whenever it is, I don't know, how will you know that you've actually got this like resolved? What's a picture of like, oh yeah, now I understand voice of customer? What will we be seeing to know that that's the case?
Oh, I love this question. So one of the ways I used to have this when I had my previous position is I would have, this sounds silly, but I sometimes do some silly things to trigger that, right? But I would have little avatars of the people that are my main stakeholders in front of me. So they would be up in front of my desk while I'm working. I'd look up and be like, oh, that's so-and-so, right? Reminding me to do this. So I would know because I would have the same type of thing. I'd have a visual. We are so lean, aren't we? The visual of the stakeholders and that with the customer right in front of me. That's how I would know.
So tell me more about um, the avatar. Just trying to picture in my mind. So you would have a picture up somewhere that you would be seeing.
Yeah, I had these little trinkets, but even just like I have little toy ninjas or whatever they might be, just to put
Yeah.
a little something in front of my desk so that whenever I'm working, I'm remembering who I'm serving. It's really powerful visual.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. I have like right here on my camera, I have a picture of my family. And that's my like when I'm talking, it's my reminder I'm talking to a human being. But to your point, it's having a visual picture of okay, this is the person that I'm looking to support and serve. So that's a good picture of okay, once I have that picture, I know I'm there. That feels good. So where are you at right now? So that's where you want to be. Where are you at right now in relation to that?
I think I know. I think so. To me, it's the most dangerous place to be. Right, is when we think we know what our customers want. So I think I know, and I really want to prove myself wrong. I want to be wrong about this.
Mm. Well, tell me more. What is it that you think you know?
I think that people struggle seeing things objectively at first. I think that that is the first step that we don't. I don't. I think that's the first step that, in my own experience, I didn't quite step into enough. So I would never get as far in the problem solving process as I could have if I would have, again, kind of planned in the beginning. And one of my steps in plan is to first and foremost be objective. And
Hmm.
so if I get myself to that place of objectivity and then go through the problem solving process, that I will come out with a better outcome. So that's really the
Mm,
premise behind a lot of slingshot designs and cardinal rule is getting yourself to that place of objectivity first. So I believe that that's a need. It doesn't mean that that's confirmed with a true voice of customer activity of any stretch.
yeah, and this is I think the challenge we all have when we're doing problem solving is like getting the picture of where we want to be, right? And like can look at the vision, the target condition, whatever you however you, what you want to label that. And then being honest about where you're at right now. And it's good to see you, Greg and Dave. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. And Paul and Mustafa all over the world: Iran, Australia, Ottawa, UK. Loving this global community here. So thank you all for hopping in. Please jump in, grab in with questions or comments or thoughts, takeaways here. Um, but again, you've got a clear picture of where you want to be. You know you want to be objective with where you're at right now, because of course we can't get to somewhere that we want to be if we don't know honestly where we're starting from. That's
Right.
like the logic there. So I think it's now okay in relation to understanding your voice of the customer. Where are you at in relation to that? Knowing you want to be objective, where are you at now with that if you were to say?
I Hmm. I'm going off of all of my own experience, right? So there's nothing new that I've done in this process of
Mm,
gathering VOC or voice of customer that I haven't done in the past. And so I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want to step into an old business with the same mantras and attitudes. And I obviously
mm,
won't, but I really want to find a new first step.
mm. So I guess that and I totally hear you, right? You don't want to re-go like, hey, this is a new thing, but we're gonna go with the same old thing I've always done. Like, where did that get me? Like so I totally get that for sure. So then where are you though with that? Because we want to start with whatever it is, whether it's the old, new, or just maybe a little bit. What is it that where you're at with that understanding of the voice of the customer right now? Hi, Joakim. Thanks for joining us in from Sweden.
I am well with voice of customer right now. I just my existing kind of client base, the people that I had worked with before. I went out and I did speak to some people about, hey, that I know have been using cardinal rule for the last few years, and have conversations with them. What have you seen? How have things impacted? What's the difference, right? But what I want, I think, is maybe those are people that knew me, and so I had this opportunity to kind of uh, teach as I learned about it myself. So I really want a group, I think, of people that are new to it, that I can say,
Hmm.
am I, is this going well? So I guess as I'm talking, I'm starting to think maybe something along the lines of a test group or something like that, where I can start to get an idea of how would you use this, other just to get ideas that aren't my own.
Hmm. So one of the things that I find from us as lean practitioners is we like to go, and we all do it. We like to go straight into like, hey, what's the solution to resolve my problem? Which that totally get that. That's easy to do, and I think what I want to encourage, and I know you're in, and I what I appreciate about what you said earlier was I want to not be right, which is great scientific thinking, right? Whole point of scientific thinking is we are looking to disprove our hypothesis, because if we disprove our hypothesis, what do we learn? How do we grow? We can't, right, from that. So that's where I want to push you to think as clear as you can about, okay, what does the success look like? And you did a good job of like, hey, I want to have this avatar, right? um, and then understanding where you're at and understanding that avatar, right? So that's where I want to go. Okay, where are you at in relation to like having that picture of the avatar, um, for you right now in this new season, right, that you're in?
So, okay, I like that question. So I where I have some idea in terms of, I know like who my ideal client might be, based off of just my messaging and what I sound like, what I'm offering, that type of thing, my own experience. So I do have that. Um, and I think developing that more is maybe in line, right? It hasn't been that long on all this. So I think that's really what I'm looking for, is how do I get more in touch with those people, with those avatars?
Okay. Okay. So how do you get in touch with the avatars themselves? That's something you're not sure of right now.
Yeah, I think I mean that more internally, not so much like dial them up, right? I'm not
Right.
afraid to
Right.
call anybody up. It's more just how do I have them in my thoughts through everything that I'm creating, so I'm
Got it.
always creating value for those people.
So the challenge that I'm hearing then is you want to understand who your avatar is and what their challenges are so that you can support them in a meaningful way.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're not feeling like you're at that point where you feel like, oh, yeah, I know that. And I feel good about that.
Yes, and I really, Sam, think that if I had that crystal clear, all of the decision making between here and where I
Mm,
need to be would be so much quicker to make, right? I know what I have to
hmm.
do for this person to win. So if I can help this person win, even though this person is an avatar,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So let's think about that then. So, um, why is it that you want to understand these things?
I think understanding, I mean, I feel so silly giving, like I'm giving a third grade answer to my third grade teacher here, but I feel like understanding voice of customer and delivering value, just if I understand that, then I think my compass is always on point, right? I'm always
Yeah.
going in the right direction, because even if I'm not going to find exactly what I thought I was looking for, heading in this direction, I'm going to find the oasis, whatever it might be, right?
Hmm. I appreciate that. You have a compass that's going to guide you and direct you in your business, right? And from what I know of you, you're very intentional and heart centered. So I know that that's so important to you. Um, so as you're thinking about this, then what's keeping you from understanding the voice of the customer and getting an avatar? What's standing in your way of that understanding?
I, mm, the two-part answer. One is time, and two is fear. Right. So I'm going to say time because that's the physical barrier. Fear because
Mm,
if it was we how do I put this? Fear because if it was a higher priority to me, it would have already been done. Right. So what am I?
mm,
I got to say that there's only so much time. If I'm saying this is top priority, why haven't I done it yet? And the answer is because I'm working on like a website or I'm working on getting these other things up and running. But again, I'm looking at myself and I love that I came on here because I was forced to really say, what is your biggest problem? And my biggest
mm,
problem is that I'm doing all of this out of order. I don't understand
mm.
well enough who I'm doing it for yet.
Yeah, just hear that, y'all, right there, because I think that is something I can learn from. I'm getting a little because I think that's just something we all deal with, and I appreciate that you were so honest about like the time and the fear. I talked to someone here recently who's having a lot of challenges, and they use the word dithering. I just love that word
Mm,
because, and
too.
behind that, I said, when we like dither, that's typically because we're scared of something, right? And I know because I've like that's what I do. I'm a professional. I do this. I do that super well. I'm like an all star of dithering. Um, so when you think about the time and the fear, what's behind the fear if you were to like name that?
And I as soon as I said fear, I wanted to pull it back and replace it with uncertainty because it's not
Mm,
they're all under the umbrella of fear to me, right?
yeah,
Fear,
yeah,
uncertainty, doubt, all of that, like this unknown.
yeah.
And typically I'm game, right? I think it's my challenge right now is everything is unknown, right? It's that's just the first steps of any new chapter is everything's unknown. So
Yeah.
I would say that that's the the fear of the unknown is more. I don't know where to start, and I don't know that what I'm doing first is the right first step always.
Yeah. Isn't that's like so the case? I think for us as lean practitioners, we want to make sure we're doing it the right way. And which is just so interesting because the heart of somebody who practices is experimentation and trying things without knowing what the answer is. And thanks for hopping in, Vivian. Appreciate it. What type of tools can we use to validate the assumptions? Yeah, absolutely. We just we have assumptions and we need to challenge those, which is what I appreciate about what you're doing, um, Michelle. So as we're thinking about the uncertainty, what's what's behind like the uncertainty controlling or having a space for you?
I don't even want to say fear of failure. That's an old answer, right? Um,
Yeah.
so that and I don't want to say getting stuck into old patterns because I'm not doing it, right? I'm not doing it. So
Yeah.
I think I just haven't done it. I think it's just a matter of go do.
Mhm.
Knowing that I'm probably going to get it wrong the first time, but it won't be a waste, right? I think
Mm.
it's just a matter of go do, picking people and starting conversations that are uncomfortable and
Mm.
feeling like I'm what's the word? I'm intruding, feeling like I like other people's. I think this is a big one for me and others too. Is feeling that there's that my problem. Like I'm the first one who I want you to call me when you have a problem. I want to be that person for you, for anybody. Like, but I'm not real good at going up to somebody and saying, "Hey, I have a problem." can I have 10 minutes of your time?
Right. That is that's a huge challenge. Uh, Feeling like you're intruding and taking over their time. It's very interesting. And then thinking back to why I'm feeling like I'm an intrusion, um, for sure. So, what do you, as you're kind of thinking about these things, the uncertainty, feeling like you're an intrusion, those kind of things, what's the next step to help you move through this obstacle for you?
Call somebody I'm scared to call.
Uh,
I even know who it is too. It's like, it's funny. An answer didn't come to my mind. A face came to my mind. Right.
oh, crazy.
Yeah. So I know, and the thing is, I'm afraid to say, I'm afraid to hear no from certain
Mm,
people, right? Certain
yeah.
people who I've had in my mind as this guiding light that when helping somebody else, I'm actually thinking of them, So it's calling those people because it's almost like this comfort buffer that I leave between me and it's like that don't meet your hero, right? It's kind of that, like, this is my
Uh,
ideal client. I already know them. It's just a matter of me picking up the phone call and calling, or picking up the phone and calling them and saying, "Hey, do you have a need for this?"
mm. So what's the specific action you're going to take?
Oh, I have to say it out loud live, which means I'm gonna actually have to do it. So,
Well, you
all
don't
right.
have to, but
Well, I will. Okay. So if he happens to be watching, you might be getting a phone call from me soon. I'm going to call this person and have a conversation about what it is that I've been up to, and and ask them. There's the big one. That's the closer, right? We were talking about that earlier. Is I don't like to close, and that even comes down to asking for the time, right? So
Mhm.
it's not a sale. I'm not asking for money, but I am asking for time, and time is money. That's the
Yeah.
thought process in my head. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
call him. I'm gonna ask him for his time. I'm gonna tell him I have something valuable that I'd like his feedback on, and ask him if he's got time to share it.
And when will you be doing this?
At his convenience, but I'm going to ask him before the end of the year.
Okay, before the end of the year.
12th. That gives me 2 weeks.
Is there one of the questions we ask in the kata is how quickly can we go and see what we've learned from taking the step? And part of that is because we always want to run experiments as quickly as we can so we can test our hypothesis and then see what we've learned. So I'm just wondering, is there a way you could do that step quicker?
I could
It's
do it this
possible.
week.
By what day would you like to say?
How about by tomorrow?
Okay, by tomorrow. Okay, cool. So, what do you expect to feel while you're taking this step?
I was going to say nervous, but that's not true. Again, old
Mm,
answers. Those are old answers. I would have
mm,
last year that I would have felt very nervous to come on here and talk to you, but I don't. Right. So
mm.
it's a bit of preparation. It's a bit of just committing in my own mind that, yeah, this is my next step. Do it. Right. So I think I will feel like this is my next step. I said it was going to be, I'm going to do it, and then I'll just get it done. I don't think I'll be nearly as nervous as I um, would have been in a different time, I suppose.
Yeah. What do you expect to learn from this?
I'm hoping to continue to learn the lesson that I'm not, and that I'm growing. I've grown,
Mm,
continuing to grow. I evolve, right? To continue to learn this lesson that I don't. Oh, here it is. To continue to learn a lesson that I don't need to validate my feelings. I don't need to validate the feeling. I need to validate the process. I need to validate the approach, but I don't need to validate how I feel.
damn. You just waited till the last minute to drop that bomb on us all, didn't you?
Hey, Sam, I think I've been waiting about 4 to 6 years to drop that bomb on somebody.
That's awesome. I'm with you on that. Oh my goodness. We got people all around the world checking in. India, thanks, Mahoop and Nigel. Appreciate you checking in from Northern Ireland. Thank you all for being here for that kind of moment is why I love this work. And why coaching is so meaningful because it can take like 25 minutes to get to the juice, right? And that's why as coaches we keep digging, we keep asking those questions, and we ourselves process, right? Like that's why it's so important we have that outside. So if you all have any thoughts, questions, comments, takeaways here in the last couple of minutes before we drop off, please throw those in there. Is any encouragements for Michelle as she's continuing to go down this road that many of us have where we're trying to figure out our customer and what's their pain point, who are they, what do they care about? Like that's like the big challenge for every entrepreneur, I feel like. So what's your, well, while I'm waiting for any questions or comments to float in, what is your takeaway here, Michelle, as you're heading into this?
My Well, a lot of things. I think I learned a lot from these processes by putting. I think we tend to go to facilitating coaching very quickly, and then we could try this on ourselves, right? But to sit, I didn't prep
Mm,
for this on purpose, and I really wanted to sit in the coachy chair and just be coached blindly. Like I typically might prep and get, oh, I think I know, I'll go this way with it, but not on these types of problems. I think it was really nice to come in with a blank slate and have it fill in together.
mm, I love that. That's so great. And that's what I like about coaching too. I mean, you get to know people over time, but you're still walking every session as something new, right? Like something's happened between the last time you met and today. And so
Yeah.
um, that's what I love about this. It's what can get the excitement going. I like to reframe nervous as exciting.
Yes.
Um, this is the same feeling as we know. So yeah, yes, I appreciate you just being again so like open and vulnerable and sharing things like, hey, I'm really looking to get validation from other people when really the reality is I need to know that my feelings and what I'm offering is valid just in and of itself.
Yes. We all learn,
That's
right?
no, we all have it all figured out. No. Um, let's see. I'm just looking to see Aruna. Thanks for joining us in. Man, all over the world. I love this. That we had so many great folks from around the world. And please network with each other. Connect with Michelle, of course, if you're watching it live or on the replay. Please, please, please do that. And we'll be back here again on Thursday. I've got a survey that I'm looking to have y'all take. Speaking of voice of the customer, because on Thursday we'll be sharing about another coaching topic, but I want to really understand, hey, what is it that you all are facing? What are the challenges that you all as coaches, lean coaches, are facing and want to have conversation about? So please take a second and drop some answers on that. And thank you again, Michelle, for let's give a big round of applause. Michelle, I don't have the applause maker here, but thank you so much for dropping in and putting yourself in the mildly warm seat.
We'll see.
Take
Thank
care,
you so much.
everybody.
Yep.
Have a fantastic Tuesday, and take good care. We'll see you on Thursday, same bat time. Bye now.